So, last night was two of my good friends' engagement party, so wasn't able to make a video last night, and had a bit of a day-to-day too, so I decided instead we're just going to roll last night's game and tonight's game into one video, so here we go. First, Blue Jays win 6-5, because what's another one-run game between friends? Yes, 6-5 over the Chicago White Sox in the first of a three-game set at Skydome. This is a team that is better than their record indicates, but they're a little banged up, scuffling right now. These are wins you want to get. You want to take advantage of teams when they're not at their best, and the Jays were able to do that. Kevin Gausman versus Lucas Giolito looked like a pretty prime matchup, but neither of them really delivered on that promise. It's not that they were bad, per se, it's more that the Blue Jays and the White Sox both played pretty pesky offense, taking a lot of pitches, fouling a lot of balls off, hitting a lot of soft ground balls and soft contact that found holes. Yeah, it was just kind of not a day for the pitchers. Gausman in particular, I mean, we've gotten used to such dominance out of him, but he gave up 3 runs over 5. He kept the team in the game, no doubt, and that's usually the standard one has to apply in these kind of situations, but he got up to 100 pitches in 5 innings and was just kind of worn down in the death of 1,000 cuts. It's not like he was bad, but just, you expect a little more is all. The guy who you can't expect more from is Alejandro Kirk with a pair of 2-run home runs. Him and a very good-looking Teoscar Hernandez with 2 doubles, including a 2-run double, were the entire Blue Jays offense in this one. I don't want to get carried away. I don't want to get carried away. You're not going to anticipate that Alejandro Kirk, of all people, is going to give you 2 home runs to power your offense for a night. He'd been getting pretty hot in Anaheim. He was a really tough out, and that's more the style of offense you expect from him, a tough out. A big surge of power like that will make you sit up and take notice for sure, but maybe not something we can expect on the regular. Getting Teo back looking like this, where he had a double to left center field and a double to right center field, driving in a couple of runs, it's coming. But in a close game like this, usually it's a defensive play or a play not made that ends up being the difference in the game, and in this case, it was both. So with 1 out, runner on third, fly ball to left field, Lourdes has to be driven back to the warning track, certainly deep enough to score the run. But remember, this is Lourdes Gurriel we're talking about here, the guy who had the most outfield assists from left field in baseball last year. Some kind of out-of-body experience must have happened to this Mendick character, who is kind of filling in for Tim Anderson, who's hurt for the series. I don't know what you're doing in that situation when you're down by a run and you're definitely going to get the run home from third base. Why are you trying to advance to second base there? Trying to get the extra 90 feet, I get that, but know who's out there. That's Lourdes Gurriel out there. Anyway, Mendick decides that I'm just going to go ahead and take second base here, and nope. It's even more impressive considering that Gurriel is kind of drifting back on it, is kind of flat-footed, and he's still able to turn around and deliver a cannon to second base. The best part is, not only was Mendick out at second base, but he was out before the run crossed the plate because that's Reese McGuire on third base. He's not exactly a speed demon out there, as we well know. So the run doesn't count, so they don't tie the game. And 6-5 is the score there, and that's the final. That loses Chicago the game, was Mendick deciding to try to take second base for no real reason on Lourdes Gurriel Jr. right there. Just, man, baseball. It's a harsh mistress. On the one hand, all right, yeah, you want to take 90 feet. I get it. It's a game of inches. It's a game of going station to station. Getting that extra base could be the difference between winning and losing. I get it. But in that situation, you got to be 100% sure that you're going to get there. Otherwise, you risk exactly what happened happening. You just can't take that chance. The Blue Jays at this point, I think, have a reputation of having a really tough bullpen. They managed to strike through. They managed to get the game tied up. You don't jeopardize that. But he did for the sake of 90 feet, and he didn't get it, and that ended up being the ball game. That is exactly the kind of play that was happening to the Blue Jays offense in the end of April, where it seems like we couldn't score at all. When anytime the other team made a mistake, we weren't able to capitalize on it. That's kind of what this felt like, but happening the other way for once. It was the other team making a fatal error and the Blue Jays capitalizing, and that capitalization leading directly to a 1-run victory. Oh, it feels so good. Also feeling good is Julian Merriweather having his best inning of this season. He looked really good. His fastball had some run on it. It wasn't just straight as an arrow right down the middle of the plate, ready, begging to be hit. No, it had some run on it, had some movement. His secondary pitches were close enough to being strikes that you had to honor them and kind of swing at them. He was very effective. You never really know what to expect from Merriweather, but his ceiling is just so high, so tantalizing that you just have to keep running him out there hoping he figures it out. Because if he ever does, man, that guy could be an absolutely explosive weapon out of the bullpen. Until then, he's a cross your fingers and hope kind of guy, and it worked out for the best this time. Also, before this game, I guess Ross has been watching these videos because he did what I've been begging him to do, DFA Ryan Borucki. I'm sure he's a nice guy. He just can't pitch at the big league level right now. Now, he is out of options, which means that if he's going to go down to AAA, he has to pass through waivers, which he may or may not. On the one hand, yeah, he's pretty talented. On the other hand, I think the book is out right now that he doesn't have a secondary pitch, so he's not very useful for other teams either. So, I don't know. I could see a world where he passes through waivers and gets sent down to Buffalo successfully. We will find out in time. In the meantime, his replacement is Trent Thornton, and that is a lateral move at best, so you know, lowercase w, whatever. Blue Jays win. That's great. On to tonight's game. Blue Jays win again, 7-3 over the Chicago White Sox in the middle game of a 3-game set. Is it happening? Is it happening? And by it, I mean this offense looking like itself. Is it happening? Oh man, it might be happening. No George Springer in this one, so Espinal leads off, but honestly, didn't even feel like we missed him. And he's a big bat. He's a guy who's been performing pretty much all season long. He's been one of our mainstays who's actually been able to hold the offense together even through its darkest times. But this team just put up one of its best offensive performances of the season without him, so, you know, great. But the key here is the big three, Bo, Teo, and Vlad. It might be happening. First of all, Bo, 0 for, that's bad, but 0 for 2 because he got 3 walks. His first 3-walk game of his big league career. I think only like his 3rd or 4th multi-walk game of his whole career. This guy's up there hacking. And honestly, if you find a way to walk this guy 3 times in a game, that is simultaneously impressive and disastrous. But honestly, in tonight's game, it wasn't even like the pitches were so far outside the zone that Bo just couldn't bring himself to swing at them. Honestly, he showed a lot of plate discipline. He took some really tough pitches and was able to work the count really effectively. It was a really nice game from Bo. But Teo with another couple of hits, including a very loud double and a couple of walks. Vlad with a couple of hits. He kind of like squeaked out an infield hit, and then Blue Jays up 5-3, looking for those tack-on runs. Bo was on base after one of his 3 walks, and Vladdy, I guess, had just had enough. But it was a pitch, a pretty good pitch, low in the zone, exactly where the pitcher meant to throw it. And Vlad crushed it, and not into the ground, into the air, on a straight line. It was one of those classic Vlad home runs that looks like it's still going up as it hits the stands. Like he destroyed this ball. And he reached down from low in the zone to do it. That's exactly the kind of thing that he simply hasn't been able to do for like 3 or 4 weeks. Is it happening? Kirk had good at-bats. Lourdes had good at-bats. Chapman had good at-bats. Danny Jansen hit a 3-run home run. It's happening. It's just this lineup that looked impossibly long at the beginning of the season got so short, so fast, retreating into itself like a frightened turtle. And now, all of a sudden, in the last week, it looks like they've just relaxed, and now they're long again. They look like last year's Blue Jays again, except they have this year's pitching staff, and oh my god. It wasn't all sunshine and roses. Hyun-Jin Ryu only managed 4 innings of work here, and then apparently, it didn't look like it at the time, but he left the game with another forearm injury, the same arm and the same general location that had bothered him before. I don't see a world in which he doesn't go on the 10-day IL again, and it might end up being longer. I mean, if it's a persistent problem and it's moving around, if it's sometimes in his arm, sometimes in his elbow, sometimes like... That's the kind of situation that eventually a guy has to get surgery to try to fix it, right? Like, you can't keep putting him on the 10-day, having him back for 2 truncated starts, and then putting him back on the 10-day. That's not going to fly continuously, right? But that's the situation we're in right now. But we were given an immediate reminder of what it looks like when one of our starters, even if it's Ryu, goes down. That means that Ross Stripling has to come in to replace him. Ross came in today, but you lose that luxury of a multi-innings guy out of the bullpen, a long man, a true long man. You lose that luxury when Stripling has to be pushed into rotation service. Considering how taxed and heavily worked this bullpen is right now, losing our one legitimate long man, because we have to put him into the rotation, is really, really tough. I think sooner rather than later, even with all the success the Blue Jays are having right now, I think they do need to make a move to address the bullpen. Now, is that as simple as calling up Casey Lawrence or Tommy Hatch or someone from AAA to just come in and fill that spot? Or do they need to bring in someone from outside the organization? I could see both being a possibility. But yeah, some of the choices Charlie's had to make in the last couple days are pretty telling, including in this one when he had to reach back for David Phelps and tell him, yeah, getting one out like you normally do is not good enough. We need you for a full inning after that. Now, it was the bottom of the Chicago lineup, and it all worked out totally fine, but that's a risky decision. And having to bring Jimmy Garcia back out 2 nights in a row, and again, that worked out totally fine. He looked completely sharp, but it's a thing that Charlie has avoided doing in the past, and he had to do it tonight. So if that's the situation going forward, and then you have to take Stripling out of that equation and put him into the starting rotation, yeah, they're going to need reinforcements pretty soon. But all of that can wait for tomorrow. You know why? Because the hitting is back. The starting rotation continues to be solid because Alek Manoah is going to be on the mound tomorrow afternoon looking for the sweep. Oh, it's all starting to come together. This team has won 7 games in a row. Yeah. And we still haven't gotten to the part of the schedule that could be described as, air quotes, easy. I think something like the 5th or 6th easiest schedule in MLB going forward, whereas the Yankees, the team we're chasing, has, I think, the 5th hardest. So, yeah, I mean, strength of schedule only matters so much, right? Because it's not like the Orioles can't be pesky. It's not like you can't go into Kansas City and absolutely lay an egg. It's not like teams that are below 500 currently are absolutely devoid of talent. Some of them are just kind of pretending to be below 500 teams right now. So strength of schedule is not always the most important thing, but it's just another little tiny edge that seems to be pushing the Blue Jays' way. This is a team that has found ways to win in the face of a lot of adversity. The team not playing well, the offense in particular not playing well, guys being hurt, starting rotation being excellent, but the bullpen being overworked. Really tough schedule out of the gate. Despite all that, the Blue Jays have found ways to win, and now are 29-20. They're in a good spot, man. They're in a good spot. Anyway, like I said, Alek Manoah on the hill tomorrow afternoon looking to close out the series sweep. Always feel good when that guy's on the line. It should be pointed out as well that the Blue Jays won the first 2 games of this series against Chicago's best pitchers, Giolito and Kopech. Kopech in particular had an ERA sub-2 coming into this one, and the Blue Jays knocked him around. If this rotation keeps looking the way it's looking and the offense keeps going on this trajectory, I don't know how long of a streak we might be able to build here, but I don't think we're quite done just yet. I'm saying we're going to win tomorrow. I'm saying it. All right, it's baseball. We might not win. Who knows? Right? Every particular game is just kind of like a slightly weighted coin flip. But I'm feeling good, man. I think the team is feeling good. I think they're feeling themselves. I think the offense is starting to round to form. I think everybody now is just kind of riding a little wave of giddiness. I think everyone's really excited to come to the ballpark every day. And it's hard to keep a team like that down, especially a team that has this much talent. A team with this much talent, feeling good about itself, rolling. Oh, that's when you get the big long streaks. That's when things really start to come together. I can see it happening. I'm watching it happen. The feel and the vibe of this team and the amount of little plays that are turned perfectly. The number of good pitches that are turned around and hit hard. The number of good at-bats and good swing decisions per plate appearance. All of them are trending in the right direction. I really have a great feeling about where this team is right now. Some cutting-edge analysis for a team that's won 7 in a row, Dave. Doesn't mean I'm wrong, though. Okay, that's it for me. Thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you very much for watching this channel. If you enjoy it, please like and subscribe if you are so inclined. I will see you tomorrow afternoon for the closing of this 3-game set against the Chicago White Sox. Alek Manoah, always my favorite day of the week. See you guys then.